This is I Am Dead. I know absolutely nothing about it, but the trailer made it look really good, and so I kind of grabbed it impulsively. I've been playing a lot of demos from the Steam Festival, and this is not one of them. I think this game actually just legitimately came out, but I sort of downloaded it at the same time as a bunch of other things. But I don't know, it looked particularly fascinating. It seems like it's a puzzle game where you're a ghost who can see through objects, penetrate objects, I think is how it works. I don't know. That's all I could get from the trailer. And the art style looks...
Well, here I am again. Morris Lupton off for my morning walk.
Hope you can hear the dialogue okay.
This must be the finest stretch of beach on the finest island the whole world over. For a little speck of land in the North Atlantic, it sure is a good un.
I'm expecting to have mouse look, but I don't.
But this walk isn't the same without Sparky. She did love chasing that tennis ball. Oh, Sparky. I miss you, girl. Oh, I see those yoga folks up at the Lighthouse are up bright and early, saluting the sun and all that. I always thought that looked like fun.
Let's just swim out there.
Chelmaston used to be a quiet place. You'd only come here if you liked fishing or bird watching. But since the new ferry service started, we get loads of tourists.
I'm concerned that the dialogue might not be loud enough to easily hear. The game's kind of got some subtle audio, so I think I could raise the volume a little bit without it competing with me too hard. Let's try this.
But what you gonna do? It's always changing.
Actually, while I was paused, I should acknowledge some more people coming into the chat. Wolfo, congratulations on being up for this new job. I'm excited for you. Ginger Puka, thanks for joining me. And Lili, don't stay up too late. But it's fun to have you here.
The crater's definitely been smoking more than usual lately. That's funny, that, for a dormant volcano.
Oh, no. That stinks of foreboding.
Yep, Chelmaston's a smashing place. I'm lucky to call it home.
I think I'm going to sit down on that bench and die.
Ah, the bench. Yeah, this is, well, it's my bench. Yeah, the museum paid for it because I was the curator there. Yeah, and they did that to remember me because, oh yes, I am dead.
Sorry if I spoiled that by saying this game was about a ghost. But it is called I Am Dead, so...
It's been some adjustment, but not all bad. Yeah, I should probably go and check on the museum, actually. Yeah, I've been collecting the stories of Chelmaston for years now, here in my museum. There are so many stories, and wonderful ones. The museum started off small, but just grew and grew. It's shut at the moment, of course. Not sure what's going to happen with it now that I'm no longer doing it. I do like coming back here, though. Gives me a bit of purpose.
Morris.
Which I've really missed since, becoming dead. Oh, one thing that's been keeping me amused. Since I've been dead, I found I can do some new things.
So, Morris talks so much. That's probably what it's like to be in a meeting with me, actually. He just keeps talking and talking, and I can't get a word in edgewise. So, okay, so I kind of started expecting from the way that I was walking down that beach that this was going to be a game where I walk around. I didn't have a lot of control, though, on the beach. I could use A and D to sort of turn a little bit to the right and left, but I basically was forced to walk down that specific path. Here, I can't walk forward at all. I can slide left and right with A and D, or I can grab the screen with the mouse button and woo, slide left and right. So here's the museum reception desk. Okay, so I just clicked it, which means I've isolated the desk. Okay, I can rotate it with A and D, and I can... Okay, yeah, this is what I saw on the trailer, is that this game is about...
Weird. Yeah, I'm not sure what use it is, but it's been keeping me quite entertained.
So, I mean, this is a thing that you do all the time in video games, sort of slicing in, you know, like, usually by accident. It's called clipping sometimes, you know, that you kind of like, if you step into something, you end up sort of seeing through the geometry. Now, they've actually done something here that you don't normally do, which is they've got, they're filling in the gaps. Normally, if you clip into something in a game that doesn't intend you to, you just see, you know, you see that everything is fake, nothing is solid, it's all just, you know, sort of a wrapper around the shape. But here they're actually filling it in, you know, in the place where you're slicing, which is good because that is going to make it look a lot better. So yeah, so I think that this game is a puzzle game that's all about sort of searching through objects to find hidden things. Like this.
Ah, but the novelty's worn off. I mean, it's been, well, I don't know how long exactly, but an awful long time since I've had anyone to talk to. Well, anyone who talked back, anyway.
So are these like... Okay, for a second I thought they were pieces of a puzzle, but they're just like... Oh, they're caramel chocolates. Of course, not just chocolates, but caramel chocolates. So that you can see a filling in the middle when you sort of clip into them. Hey there, Curtis. Thanks for joining us. So, do I have a purpose here, though? Like, am I just here to look at weird stuff? Sheep shank whiskey? I wouldn't want to drink something that implies that it's made out of sheep. I guess the receptionist keeps this for those days when they have to deal with really nasty customers. Oh wow, they've even got like... Actually, is this a... What is that? I don't actually know what that object is supposed to be sitting on top of the paper. Is it like a highlighter? Strange. Oh hey, Joshua, good to see you. And Jesse Baker. Or Joshua, you had another name that you use, and I forgot what it was. I'm so sorry. I remember it from your comment on another video. What is this thing? Barnacle cluster? There's... Oh, what? It's a knife inside. That's neat. So I've discovered that there's a knife that's got barnacles all over it. It's kind of cool. Is there a purpose to it? Do I have a reason why I'm here? Oh, and I can't even clip into this one. Interesting. So they let you use the keyboard if you want to. It's kind of slow though. The mouse can do all the same things as the keyboard, but much faster. So I think I'm just gonna rely on the mouse here. Okay, is there anything... Okay, it looks like I can't click on this stuff. Well, I can look at these books, but I don't know why I would want to, exactly. I think I've done everything here that I can. Is there something else that's worth clipping into? Like this thing. Oh, is that... Oh, is this like a place to store the stuff? Or no, this is additional stuff. Interesting. So is this just about sort of like idly investigating a bunch of stuff? There's got to be a purpose here, right? I mean, I imagine that they probably fill the world with objects so that when they give me a purpose, like maybe they ask me to go find something, it's a challenge because everything in the world is interactive in this particular way.
No, I couldn't. That sounds like Sparky.
Is this my dog?
You?
Is this my dog's urn? Okay, so now they gave me some time to sort of explore and just sort of figure this out at my own pace. But oh, the place where they tell me what to find, it is hidden right now. So let's put me on the bottom of the screen so that you can see what I'm supposed to find. Up there at the top. Okay, so I'm supposed to find this. I imagine that maybe the dog was wearing this when we cremated the dog. Yep, there it is. Oh, hello. I have a weird-looking dog.
Come with me. I need to show you something.
My dog can speak? Has Timmy fallen down the well? For the record, Timmy never fell down a well in Lassie.
Oh, it's Sparky.
Morris, you worked it out.
You can talk?
Well, I could always talk. You just couldn't understand me.
And you can hear me?
Well, sure. You are talking, aren't you?
Oh, Sparky!
What is it, Morris?
It's been so long. I thought I'd had my last conversation. Oh, I'm so very glad.
I'm glad too, Morris. I've been waiting for you. We need to go...
Oh, wait. Are you really my Sparky? My Sparky girl?
Mostly. The best bits. But listen, I don't know how long before the volcano erupts, but it's not long now.
The volcano? Erupting? But it's dormant.
No. It has been dormant because of the custodian. But the custodian is weakening and we don't know how much longer they can hold on.
The custodian? I mean, what are you talking about?
Shelmerston is volcanic. It's supposed to erupt every once in a while. The only reason it hasn't is the custodian, keeping the island calm.
Custodian keeping the island calm?
Take your time, Morris. Dogs are better at understanding this kind of stuff than humans.
The custodian is a ghost.
Yes! Now you're getting it. The custodian is a ghost who appeases the island, keeps it safe to live on. But the current custodian has been doing the job a long time and really needs to retire.
Oh, and the island needs a new custodian.
That's right. It's up to us to find a new one. There are 5 prospects that I know of. 5 ghosts still hanging around the island who haven't gone into the west yet. We need to find them and see if they'll take the job.
Well, what if none of the prospects wants it?
If the current custodian fades away and there's nobody to commune with the island's spirit, well, that would be bad.
Bad how, Sparky?
Lots more ghosts.
Volcano bad. You've seen how it's smoking. We don't have long now.
Well, could I be the custodian?
Oh, I wish. But Ghost Code 342B dictates that the custodian must be a ghost who has been dead on this island for at least 1,000 days. And we don't have that long.
Ghost Code 342B. Yeah, well, I suppose that makes as much sense as anything else.
Right. Let's get going, Morris. Our first prospect is Peter Noach.
Oh, yeah, from the yoga center. Yeah, he died a few years ago, didn't he? Yeah, I remember his funeral on the Lighthouse.
Yes, that's the fella. He always had those funny green treats. Let's go pay him a visit.
Okay, I love this dog character. Okay. So now how does this game work once we get past effectively the tutorial? This is kind of what I was hoping, that we would start with
Wow, flying!
the whole lighthouse.
Oh, this feels nice.
What? Oh, right. Oh. You kind of forget about it after a while.
I always was impressed with this yoga center. Pete seemed like a chap who went through some tough times, and creating this place really seemed to help him.
Yep, and it's still going strong. They're always busy with folks from the mainland.
Yoga center run by a robot. How things change. Well, it seems to be working out, though. So, now Pete's a ghost, so how do we find him?
Well, remember that clue I sent you from inside my urn? The tag?
Yeah?
Right. So that was something special to me while I was alive that helped me channel my ghost. A kind of memento. So we need to channel the ghost of Peter Noach. And to do that, we need to find his mementos.
And how are we going to do that?
By looking into the memories of those who loved him best. People with memories of Pete will have little thought bubbles coming out of their heads. Those are a sign you'll be able to dive into that person's memory.
I suppose that's hardly the strangest thing I've heard today.
Oh, Morris, just you wait. Now, to recap. Find people who are close to Peter. View their memories. Track down the mementos. And then leave the rest to me.
So people, then memories, then mementos, then Pete. Yeah, think I get the idea. Okay, let's go.
Okay, Pete arrived on Shelmerston to take the job of lighthouse keeper. He led a solitary life for several years, seldom visiting the town and speaking only rarely, before opening the lighthouse as a yoga retreat with the help of a robot called M. Okay, so it looks like he had a bunch of question marks around him, which probably represents mementos I haven't found yet. Whoa. Hello. Okay, so yeah, what I imagined was that I'd start at lighthouse scale, drill into the lighthouse, and then drill into individual people and objects. Oh, this is neat. The way we're just sort of like just inside the wall of the lighthouse. So as we rotate, we can see both rooms. We can see sort of the windows kind of unfolding. Oh, that's fascinating. So I imagine that the process of coming up with this game was probably they came up with this mechanic, like, you know, clipping into an object is a thing you do all the time by accident in video games. What if they made this the mechanic? What if they hid things inside the game and you had to find them? And then they probably came up with this whole ghost story just to justify the mechanic. And that's actually sometimes the hard part, is coming up with, like, when you've got a clever mechanic, coming up with the right story to sort of wrap around it to fully complement and focus the player on what it is they're trying to do. It's not always easy, but it seems like they come up with a pretty clever one. So here's Tope. Okay, can I clip into this person? Aw, I'm kind of almost disappointed that we can't clip into them. But it looks like he doesn't have any memories of Pete. Because I feel like I would be seeing the thought bubble at this point. Alright, can I... Oh, but I can go up and down the stories too. Alright, so she's got a thought bubble. So notice what they're doing here. Like, they're intentionally starting me with people who don't have thought bubbles. Because I think if someone in here had a thought bubble, I would feel like, oh, I'm being sent to the only place I can go, and here's the thought bubble I'm supposed to open. But because they sent me to a place with 2 people and no thought bubbles, that means I have to keep looking. And so that's what led me to drag myself around. So a lot of times the sort of the natural inclination that people will have when they're creating a tutorial is to put everything directly in front of the player and just sort of like march them through the process one thing at a time. But putting a little bit of exploration and uncertainty in there, giving the player a situation where they're not exactly sure what to do, but they clearly have the tools to explore, is sometimes better, because then they, you know, when they naturally find something, rather than just being sort of stepped through the process, they remember it better. When they find it themselves, they remember it better. That's one thing that I feel like I picked up from, you know, working on mobile games, is the fact that, you know, there's a lot of tutorials in mobile games that, well, they'll basically darken the entire screen except for the one button you're allowed to push. And so you push that button, but it doesn't stick in your memory because it was the only thing you could do. You didn't have to figure it out, make a decision, analyze the screen, understand the screen in order to find it. Instead, you just did the only thing you could do. It's almost like when I'm riding in a car with someone and they're making all the choices about, you know, what turns to take and stuff. I can't get back home. Like if I ride in the passenger seat and my wife drives me somewhere, I can't get back home because she's the one making all the decisions. She's the one taking all the turns. I don't know where we went. But if I'm in the driver's seat, then I remember the whole route and I can get back. And so it's the same thing with video games. It's like in tutorials. If you just make all the choices for the player, they don't learn how to make choices and they don't retain anything, and it's much harder for them to play the game. So that's it's much easier certainly to step the player through the process than it is to come up with the right way to have them discover it on their own. Okay, so robots like it. I'm starting to wonder, actually, I think maybe up here is where my face belongs. So let me just quickly move myself again. I just want to make sure that you can see all of the screen that you need to see. Ah, not what I meant. Okay, so let's find out what it's like to look at a memory. This is M243. Whoa.
When Pete arrived at the lighthouse, he needed help running it, but refused all offers. Eventually, fearing the possibility of a shipwreck, Trinity House sent me to Shelmerston to help keep things running smoothly.
Whoa, okay. So if I grab with the left mouse button, I can scroll. Or wait, can I?
I bought Pete a plant as a welcome present.
Oh, weird.
He introduced himself very quietly, but didn't seem to want to say anything else. He seemed distracted, like gravity was pressing down on him harder than other people.
They've chosen an interesting affect for the robot. Like, they are making it talk differently from a person, but it doesn't sound like other robots I've heard. It's not sort of the, the classic, like, I am a robot sort of voice, but it's not GLaDOS and it's not Siri. It's just a little bit different from everything. So it's interesting choices by the actor. Okay, so I can bring different memories into focus.
Whenever I would enter a room, Pete would mutter some excuse to leave. I didn't have a single conversation with anyone in months.
Yeah, so as I slide up and down, like, these amorphous shapes sort of move around. Oh, there. Okay, so I think... So each time I find a new picture, I can click to continue the story?
Eventually, Pete noticed the plant.
What do you bet this plant is the memento? Okay, yeah, so it keeps starting me at the top. Okay, so I'll find a picture, I'll click, M will say something, and then I need to slide down. Then this will reset at the top, and I'll need to slide down again to find a new picture.
Then Pete noticed me. That was the start of what became this plant room. We spent hours in here over the years, sowing seeds and tending our plants together.
This is such a weird system. Like, I almost don't like it when I settle in on the right picture, because I kind of like watching how... I don't understand how they've made this work. Like, this feels like what I'm doing is rotating a sphere. Have they taken each color that the picture is made out of and built it as an object, like a solid object inside a sphere that I'm clipping into, and as I rotate the sphere, the pieces on the inside will line up until I find the picture? It feels like that's what's going on, but it's trippy to watch it happen. It's almost like imagining a four-dimensional object intersecting our three-dimensional reality and what it would look like as it moves in and out, like sort of changing shape and being all weird and amorphous, and you can never wrap your head around its actual true form. This feels kind of like that.
Wow. Robots got complicated, didn't they? Yeah, I didn't realize how important M was to Pete. I suppose everyone needs a friend. Ah, Sparky.
So Jesse Baker says, that's how I felt about State of Decay 2. I didn't know what I was doing and had to max a character before I even knew what I was doing. Yeah, so this lesson about how to tutorialize a game, it's stuff that I've learned recently, and we didn't do a great job of it in State of Decay 2. We took a second crack at it with the Juggernaut Edition. I think the new tutorial is better than the old tutorial, but what you really need to do is you need to plan your game's mechanics around how the player will learn them. And we didn't do that. We planned the mechanics for what it would be like for an advanced player to use them, and then after the fact figured out how we wanted to teach them. And that left us with some limitations and some problems. We didn't build the game to support the right kind of tutorial, where the player, could had the opportunity to sort of like feel their way through the mechanics and learn one thing at a time, in a space where they had enough freedom to move, but not enough mechanics introduced that it could get confusing. We didn't do that, and so our game is very difficult to learn. And I think that's a mistake, but it's something that we've learned from, and I think the next iteration in the franchise I think is going to do a much better job of it. Alright, so I'm looking specifically for a Bird of Paradise plant, which looks something like that. I imagine it's not going to be any of the plants that I can just easily see here. So none of them look like they have this exact form to it, but, like, for instance, what if it's inside this cabinet? Looks like no. I mean, I assume it's probably too large to fit in any of these objects, but what it looks like they've done is they've just built all the objects in this world to support this sort of cutaway behavior. It's kind of like, one of the problems that you face in like adventure games, for instance, is, actually you can actually see this in some animated movies. It's like, if the background's all like painted, but then you see something that looks like a cartoon worked into the background, then you know in advance, well, that's a thing that's going to move. If you have the things that move look significantly different from the things that don't. And similarly, a lot of the time, things that are interactive are just very different from things that are non-interactive. Either they're shiny or they've got a little icon over them or something like that. And it really sort of limits the space in the game, the possibility space in the game. So a lot of adventure games just become a process of just sort of like walking through the world, finding every single thing that's interactive and testing every interaction on every interactive thing until you get the right answer. And it doesn't take you that long to brute force it that way, because only the things that are actually, like the very limited number of things that are necessary to complete the game are the only things that are interactive. But look, in this game, they've come up with sort of a set of rules that apply to most items in the game. So I can't just easily find the one thing that satisfies, that satisfies the quest, because not everything, but a lot of things in the game are interactive in exactly the way that the thing that I'm looking for is interactive. So the thing is, I don't know where we would hide a plant. Does the plant have to be in the same room as the person who thought about it? Actually, you know what? I'm guessing probably not. So, let's find out what this guy's thought is. Neil Lambert. Or maybe it's Lambert, like Christopher Lambert.
I met Pete for the first time on a yoga retreat in Goa. He was the best yoga teacher, but very reserved. I noticed he had some army tattoos. I wanted to ask about them, but he would never talk about himself.
Yeah, so you can see I think I'm rotating the sphere, and the sphere is cut away, and the sphere has really complicated internal contents, and there's just one particular angle you can cut the sphere so that it makes a picture. Maybe? At least I suspect that's how it works. Okay, here, almost got it. There we are.
When I got home, I looked him up. I couldn't believe it. He'd been with Special Forces in Helmand and was awarded a medal for bravery. Pete's unit had been in an ambush. He tried to save a colleague whose leg had been blown off, but by the time they'd reached base, it was too late. Pete was the only survivor.
At least that's my guess about how it works. I can't really be sure. I think my brain wasn't designed to be able to recognize what's actually happening here.
I booked the retreat again the next year. I thought he was such an interesting bloke. Still waters, you know. And one evening, after class, I followed him down to the beach. I saw him throw something into the water and went to have a look. Picked it out of the shallows before it was washed away. It was his medal. I picked it up.
So Not Jamarda says, is that Bill Nighy's voice? I don't think so. This game seems like it's pretty small scale and indie. I don't think they could afford a recognizable actor.
I went back to go the following year, but Pete wasn't teaching and it just wasn't the same. Not as good. Then, a couple of years later, I saw an online ad for his new retreat in a lighthouse. I booked immediately. I took the medal with me. Perhaps he would want it back.
Awesome Twitch Dude asks if I'm going to be on the State of Decay stream on Monday. Yes, I am. I'll be a guest again because we're, getting Jawa all set up to be able to run it while I go. I'm planning on going on a more extended, taking more of an extended leave pretty soon, and so we'll definitely need somebody who's completely up and running on hosting the stream. So he's going to be hosting for the foreseeable future, for the next little while. Not foreseeable future. That feels like really far. Like, maybe month and a half, couple months, something like that. But I'll still, whenever I'm available, I'll show up as a guest on the stream and I'll still be involved. Oh, is that... There we go.
It was the same Pete Noach, and if anything, he was an even better teacher. One coffee break, when I got him on his own, I brought up Helmand in conversation. I wish I hadn't. It was like a shutter coming down. I didn't mention the medal.
Interesting. There's a little bit of magnetism to the right setting. It's I don't have to get it perfect. If I get it close enough, then as soon as I let go of the mouse, it'll move slightly towards the final position and settle in. I just need to get close enough.
I kept coming back for the yoga, and over the years I saw Pete mellow. I think the Lighthouse was doing him good. He even cracked a joke with the group once in a while. So, that summer, the one before he died, I decided to act. It was the day I was leaving and I showed him his medal. There was a moment of total surprise. I was worried then. But he took it. He turned it over in his hand. The poor guy was lost for words. He gave me a nod of thanks and slipped it into his pocket. I'm glad he got it back.
So I thought I got close enough, but there we go.
Oh, Pete. I had no idea.
It always feels a little bit weird when you've got a very, very simple cartoon character, extremely minimalist, but it have really, really prominent nipples. I'm not sure why that is. It just feels really, really strange. Remember how freaked out everybody was when they saw that Mario had nipples, and it's on one level you're like, he's a person, people have nipples, but it's just when it feels like that's just the weird focus of the character, it seems kind of odd. Alright, so there's a lot of room to poke around in here. But, okay, not getting any cutaways from this object, though, so it seems like... Unless there's an individual thing I can... Yeah, nothing here is letting me cut into it. So maybe this is not a destination that... Oh, there we go. Okay, so some of these things might actually be important. But, oh, whoa, they did the insides of that radio? Wow. So yeah, so something in here might be important, but I wouldn't know yet, because I've only figured out 2 of the mementos. And so, okay, so that's kind of interesting, because it would just be, if all this was like, hey, find the hidden objects, you'd just sort of, again, you'd be able to brute force it, just run around until you find all the things that could contain stuff, and parse through them until you find the things. but because you have to identify them first through those memories, it puts more steps in the process. And oh, where does she come from? And it also means that you kind of, they make listening to the stories of these characters a big part of solving the puzzles. It's like, I want to figure out what the objects are, and so that means I'm motivated to listen to the character stories. And so it's interesting. So they came up with this interesting mechanic. They wanted to come up with a good way to use it, but they also wanted to make sure that the story that the game told was really bound up tightly in the mechanic. And so they came up with a way to use this cutaway mechanic to reveal memories, and then had the memories be necessary in order to be able to identify the hidden objects. So I end up paying a lot of attention to the story they want to tell in order to make the mechanic work. So this is really sort of nicely and tightly put together. It's a very elegant set of rules. Yeah.
I was getting ready to lay my egg.
I just love that animals are just also things that can tell stories in this game. Awesome Twitch Dude asks, if you didn't stream or, make videos for YouTube, would you still play as many games? No, I wouldn't. That's why I do this. I noticed, when I would go through my Steam backlog before I started streaming, Steam games would just pile up because I just wouldn't play them. And sometimes I would play them, but I wouldn't get very far because I would just I would get bored really quickly, and I'd be like, oh, okay, I've seen some of this, whatever, and I would just quit. Because I stream, not only do I actually sometimes am hungry for games because, I've made videos out of all the ones that I've played so far, and I need more, and so it makes me a more voracious consumer of games. But it also means that each game that I play, I get more out of it because I'm playing it with an audience and I'm commenting on it. So let's... Is that it?
But my nest needed that little something extra.
It's a cockney bird?
I found the perfect thing.
Is it a Rubik's Cube?
The human and that metal beast seemed quite agitated at their loss.
Oh, so Not Jim Artist just looked it up and found out that voice that he recognized was actually David Shaughnessy, who I don't think I know who that actor is, but he says not a small-time guy. So, okay, so they actually, I don't know who Shaughnessy is, but if it's someone that you know, Not Jim Artist, then yeah, they really did sort of invest in good performances, which is, very professional performances, which, says a lot about their priorities.
I always hated those blooming things.
Rubik's Cubes or birds? Wait, what's... Oh, it's just that is a weird looking bird over there. Can I... Okay, I can actually go inside the light. That's kind of cool. What's in here? Aha! Puzzle Cube. It's not a Rubik's Cube, because that's a brand name.
Dogs are actually very good at solving these. They're just hard for us to turn.
Okay, sure. Alright, so I found that. Does that mean I'm unlikely... It seems unlikely that anything else will be up here. Well, it's kind of neat. I think sometimes they just put, neat objects in here just because it's like, ooh. Alright, I'm just going to say that I don't think there's anything else up there, but maybe I'll be wrong.
Let's find some more memories.
Okay, so I need 2 more memories, and there's 2 already identified objects. Okay, so I can't look inside the board games. And... I don't know what I think I'm looking for. I guess the metal could be anywhere. The metal's pretty small, so I imagine it could be anywhere, but I don't know why it would be inside EM's pieces. Alright, let's poke around a little bit more and... Oh, wait. This is a thing that might contain stuff. Nothing. And is that a crock? Plastic clog is what this is. Again, avoiding brand names. Wait, what about pitcher? Nope, nothing. Okay. Anything else in here that might contain a thing? I already looked in these drawers and I wasn't able to quickly identify something. I keep hitting the wrong button. One thing that's tough is I'm playing a lot of games right now where you navigate by clicking and dragging, but some games you left click and drag, some you right click and drag, and some you middle click and drag, and I'm frequently using the wrong one in the wrong game, which is driving me crazy. Okay, so again, yeah, so there aren't a lot of great places to look for items in here that I haven't already looked. Did I look in both of the drawers? I don't think so. Another plastic clog. Okay, so yeah, the metal could be anywhere. It could be in any of these plants. But it looks like I can't click them individually, or maybe there's only a few I can click individually. It would have been very easy, actually, for them to make this game just impossible by making literally every single thing searchable. Ooh, this plant's got some interesting insides. So I hope there's not something hiding in a plant, because that's a lot of just brute forcing random plants. Let's not do that yet. What's this? Let's go. Oh, it's got weird little like imperfections inside. They look interesting when you're poking around inside of it. Huh. Oh, trash can. Oh, can't interact with that, but I can interact with the toilet. Oh, thank you so much for not putting anything really gross in here. Okay, that's weird. Okay, well, let's find out what her memory is. There's a lot of containers in here. This might be a good spot to find stuff.
I just got divorced and really wanted to go on a golfing holiday, but my best mate Tammy somehow talked me into doing a yoga retreat instead.
She talks so fast. She's a woman after my own heart. So Lili points out that my face was changing color when I was looking at the puzzle cube. I used to intentionally stream with the lights off in here so that my face would change with my face color would change with the color of the screen, which is kind of fun. I think any video looks better though when you're more brightly lit. So just looks sharper and everything. So oh, there it is. There's a certain like outlined quality that they apply to the picture when it's bright, so you can sort of see that flash by.
Yoga made me feel weird and uncomfortable. After the first day, I'd basically given up. I thought Pete was a bit angry with me. It was hard to tell.
Awesome Twitch Dude apparently looked me up on IMDb, and apparently I have an impressive IMDb page. I doubt it's that impressive. I mean, I have... The reason I'm on IMDb at all is because I wrote... I did a lot of the writing in a lot of the games that I've worked on over the years. And so games will show up on IMDb and often have writing credits, and so I'll end up there. But yes, if I'm in SAG, no, I shouldn't have any acting credits in any games that I worked on. And so no, I'm not in SAG, which means that I'm not allowed to put my voice in the game, which is fine. I can talk as a presenter. I'm not a very natural sounding actor. I always sound like I'm very presentational, like I'm speaking on a big scale, like giving a TED talk or something like that is sort of the way that I talk. I don't really sound, I have trouble sounding like I'm, acting naturally. That's a skill that other people have. Oh, you see a little flicker of the outline.
Exploring the lighthouse, I came across Pete's set of clubs. bingo, I thought. I wondered where I could practice my drive.
Nachi Marta says, might be the wrong card. The one I found wrote for Samurai Jack. Yeah, I was the a designer and writer on Samurai Jack: The Shadow of Aku. That was my first video game back in 2002, 3 maybe. I don't know. I don't remember. It was the very first project that I ever worked on was Samurai Jack: The Shadow of Aku, and I was the writer on that. So you know that's a legit credit. It's not the cartoon though. I didn't have anything to do with the cartoon. Awesome Twitch too. There wasn't a lot of writing to do for Deer Hunter 2014. I don't think mobile games usually end up on IMDb unless they're like a fancy one.
I took the clubs up to the observation deck and spent all afternoon perfecting my stroke. The sun was shining. It was the best time I'd had all week. Suddenly, I was aware of Pete watching me. My heart sank, and I braced myself for a telling off.
You know, making you work for story is a way to sort of make you pay attention to it and notice it a lot better than if they're sort of telling you a story in the background of a game.
How wrong I was. Pete cracked a smile and joined in. Every evening for the rest of that week, we were up on that observation deck, driving balls into the sea. Best holiday in years. I even got into yoga by the end.
Yeah, so Nachi Martis, I love the Samurai Jack cartoon, and I feel bad. Actually, I was thinking about it like earlier today. I feel bad that it was the first game I ever worked on, and I wasn't good at my job yet. We didn't do a great job on that game, and I feel like the cartoon deserved a better game than it got. So I don't know, I would love it if I could go back in time, redo that project, and do a much better job of planning the game, designing the game, and give the cartoon something better, than what it ended up getting. But I feel that way about all my old games. You always learn things, from a game that if you could go back in time and make the game again, would make the game better. That's never not true, but it's felt particularly true for that game. Okay, so how do I line this up? Maybe I'm just, okay. Wait, sometimes you get really close to the picture, but you're not quite there. There we go.
I guess old Pete had a light side after all.
Alright, so... Oh, wait. Dang, I was hoping it was going to be golf clubs, but it's a golf tee. If it was clubs, I'd be like, there's only a limited number of places that could possibly be. Because it's so large, but a tee could hide anywhere. This is a bag of cupcakes? What? Who has a bag of cupcakes? It looks... I mean, I want a cupcake bag now. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Can this be my luggage? Never heard of a cupcake bag. Alright, well, let's poke around in here while we're at it. This looks like this should belong to one of the yoga retreat people, though. This shouldn't be... What was his name again? Pete? Noach? Shouldn't be Pete's stuff. This might be Pete's stuff, but no, it looks like it's from a guest, too. What about up here? Probably more guest stuff. What's this? Can't tell. I think it's a suitcase, so it couldn't possibly belong to the owner, unless somebody stole something. Oh, here's a set of golf clubs, though. Aha! I kind of like the way they celebrate this. They just take a bunch of, shots of it against different color backgrounds.
I wonder how many golf balls are in the sea around this lighthouse.
So Awesome Twitch Dude asks, what do I think about some of the latest multiplayer games that have come out, like Among Us and Phasmophobia? I don't actually know Phasmophobia. I'd have to look that one up. My kids have gotten into Among Us. They really like it. I haven't tried it out yet, mostly just because, again, I always get intimidated by the prospect of playing games with other people. It feels like a big commitment, and I usually just feel so, kind of frazzled by, by the stresses of daily life, that it's hard for me to feel like I can really commit to a game that requires deep multiplayer engagement. All right, so we've got that. Still looking for the plant and the metal. Or is there anywhere else? That's the toothbrush and razor. No, this looks interesting. Okay, yeah. The chances of them hiding two things right next to each other are pretty slim, but you never know. Just as soon as you think that something is too clever for somebody to have done, it almost guarantees that they'll have done it somewhere. Alright, so there's one more thought bubble I'm looking for, and... oh man, all kinds of places you could hide stuff in here. Brass polish? Why is this guy hiding Crocs everywhere? Okay. Oh, what? So are these people... that person wasn't always here, right? Were they here this whole time and I just didn't notice them? So it's kind of fun to think about the fact that, this robot is not hiding any of my target items in here. All of the internal workings of this robot were the things that the artist just made to make the robot entertaining to look at. Like, this is just goofy fun. All of this work went in. It's almost like when, you're playing, like, say, a big cinematic game and you're driving through a really, gorgeous terrain, but all you're doing is driving by. Somebody put tons of work into something that you could just completely ignore, and similarly, they put tons of work into this little robot, and it's just a little incidental thing. Something kind of, I don't know, special about that. What is this? It's a rock with a hole. Cool. Alright, so she doesn't have a thought bubble. Oh, so many places to look. I mean, would something be in the fridge? Probably not. What's up there? Not much. Okay. What about in here? Doesn't seem like it. In here, maybe? And what is up with the crock? Please don't tell me that this last item here is a crock of a specific color, because
Daddy, your friend heard you already.
Okay, my son is apparently awake, and is listening to me stream. I hope that after he's done going to the bathroom, he'll go to bed by himself. If he won't, we might need to cut this game short so that I can go take him to bed. Yeah, okay, well, we've poked around here enough. Let's look downstairs. Okay, last thought bubble.
Pete was hard to read, Strong, silent type. But you could tell he loved his collection of Buddhas. He said they were like fat little soldiers that kept him safe. To be honest, I thought that was a bit odd. But he was a great teacher.
Josh Foreman came in and saw me poking around inside inside the kitchen and was like, "What are you looking for? Not a baby, I hope." Yeah, no, the baby was just my son talking in the background. I was not looking for a baby in a cooking pot. That would be kind of disturbing. Oh, was this it? Oh, where is it? No, not there yet. Let's see. Oh, are we resolving into... There we go.
Pete was very protective about his collection. Hated people messing with them, even telling off Em when she was dusting them.
Okay, I'm glad I guessed how to pronounce that robot's name right, that it actually goes by M and not just EM.
One day, one of the Buddhas went missing. Pete was distraught.
No.
Not much affected him, so it was a shock for everyone to see how upset he was.
I'm upset about this apostrophe. It does not belong here.
All of us at the retreat spent the whole afternoon searching, but we never found it.
Oh, there we are.
To cheer him up, Em bought Pete a little toy robot. You could tell Pete was delighted.
The toy robot. I saw the toy robot. Okay, I thought that somebody just made the insides of that toy robot for fun. That toy robot is one of my targets. Oh, is that it? Oh, there we go.
What a lovely gesture. She was a good friend, that Em.
Okay, so I know where the robot is. It's... Wait, I think I know where the robot is. It's... Oh, yes, there we are. So wait. I wasn't paying enough attention. No, it just mentioned the robot. The robot wasn't target, it was the missing Buddha. I'm sorry, I was kind of distracted by the fact that I'm concerned that my son is awake. And so I wasn't paying enough attention to the story that time. So maybe the toy robot's a clue and it's near the toy robot, but I don't see anything else in here that's... Yeah. Oh, wait. So was it saying that one of these Buddhas is missing? Yeah, that we've got these 3 Buddhas here, but there was like a spot for a 4th one, right? Is that what I saw? Oh, they're very specific about who these Buddhas are. That's interesting. Oh, whoa! It's got some fancy stuff in its head. That's kind of neat. That's extremely neat. I can't even quite tell what shapes those actually are. Weird. Trippy. Okay, so it looks like what I'm looking for is actually a small Buddha. Just more records. Didn't bury it? Okay. Wait a minute. Is there anything... Okay, yes. Oh, there's a bunch of stuff in here. Let's see. The Brankshaw thermometer, huh? Invented by lighthouse keeper Julius Brankshaw, the unique nautical thermometer had many novel features but failed to catch on due to its delicate construction and oversensitivity to fluctuations in temperature. This is the only surviving example. Interesting. The bag needs changing. Oh, does it now? There we are. How did that happen? So Jesse Baker asks, what are you researching?
What a nice little fella. I'm glad we found him.
Asks, what are you researching in this game? LOL. So usually when I play games for research, occasionally I'll actually be researching something specific in a game. Usually I'm just trying to get a broad view of what's going on in the industry. And so that involves playing just a lot of different games. Some Twitch dude asks if we mind data miners, people who look through the data in State of Decay 2 to try to find, unreleased content and stuff like that. No, we don't mind it that much. We do put some effort into obfuscating things that we don't want people to know about early. And so we do have processes around the studio for hiding features. Oh,
I'm starting to pick up the scent of something else here. I think it's Grenkins.
Grenkins?
Grenkins?
Yeah, they're tiny spirits, distant relations of the island spirit. Apparently, they bring good luck. When we get close to one, I'll pop up and let you know.
Okay, Sparky.
I still love this is my dog. Oh, what? Is that a shoe?
Okay, we're in the right place. But now we need to slice and rotate this object to just the right spot to get the Grenkin out.
Okay. I was not expecting another mechanic. Oh, this is like playing hot and cold with me? So I imagine... Oh, that's not what I meant. So it feels like this is telling me that I'm getting warm. Do I need to be pointing north, maybe? Okay, so it's slowed down when I'm at this angle, so it doesn't like this angle. I can't go any lower. Okay, so do I need to orient it in the direction? Do I need to make it look just like... Okay, I need to make it look just like the icon. One of 9 in the game or one of 9 in the level?
Hello, Grenkin. Good to see you. Morris, these spirits have been on Shelmerston for thousands of years, and they bring good luck. We should definitely keep finding them.
Definitely. Oh, so anyway, Twitch Dude, I don't know if I fully answered your question, but yeah, when we ship, you know, the build with something in it that we, you know, that we weren't really intending for players to find, but then data miners find it. No, we don't mind that too much. I mean, sure, they're allowed to do that. We shipped it. It's our fault if people discover it, and we actually kind of like it sometimes when people sort of can tease future features for us. I think, you know, people feel adventurous. They feel like, you know, that like they've accomplished something fun when they find something in the game that we didn't intentionally reveal. So it's a fun game for them. People only just get more excited about future updates when they find out what's going to be in them. So it's not bad. The only thing that would be weird is, you know, there's like if people found clues about a feature and they made a bunch of assumptions about what that feature was going to be and then they were wrong and disappointed, that would be bad. That's why, you know, larger features and stuff like that, we usually do put some effort into trying to obfuscate them so players can't easily just sort of data mine and find them, because we don't want people to, you know, we don't want them to get wrong information. Okay, so it's not 9 in the game, it's probably 9 in the level, because this is way more than 9. Okay. Anyway, I can't even remember what I've looked at in here so far. Okay, so I need to still find a plant and a metal. And they could be anywhere. Did I already look in here? Oh. That's a... Wait, it's named Jeremy? Sure, why not? Alright, nothing in there. All kinds of boots. Oh, do I have to look in every shoe? I refuse to look in the Crocs. Oh wait, these are also Crocs. Okay, I guess if this is a yoga retreat, maybe that's why they've got a whole bunch of... It's a yoga retreat in a wet place. So yeah, it does make sense that they've got a million Crocs. If you want to be barefoot, but, you know, not quite barefoot. Alright, did I already look in this? I don't remember. Oh, this looks familiar. Yeah, I think I did. Yeah. Alright. Keys are usually important in games, but I don't know that this one is. Alright, so I don't know if I'm gonna successfully find everything before... before some family situation leads me to have to leave, but... Okay. There we go. What were these called again? Grankin. It's a Grankin. Must be fun to come up with just weird little lore like this. Jesse Baker asks, what's the stance on modding in State of Decay 2? Because I hear a lot of people say the devs don't like it anymore. I mean, I don't think we don't like it. I think that, oh, there's another one? Oh, I know where this is. I've already found this. No, it's like we don't formally support it, because that's just, it's a big thing to support mods, and we haven't, made it a focus, and so we don't formally support modding, but we don't resent it. I think the only kinds of modding that we don't like is when people will mod their game in order to troll other players. If they'll get into multiplayer with somebody else and then do destructive things to their game using modding as a tool for that, we don't like that. And so we try, there's been times where we've patched the game in ways to make it harder for players to mess with each other using mods. So we don't like when people mess up the experience for other people. But if you just want to mod the game on your own local computer or whatever, it doesn't hurt us for you to do that, and so we certainly don't mind it. We don't have a problem with it. Aw, that is a very weird shaped creature. It's interesting they waited until I'd found 3 objects before they even let me know that Grinkins were a thing. It makes sense, though, because it's a lot to introduce. Like, they wanted to wait until I had done more and seen more before they give me more different things to worry about. There's so many plants in this place. It's kind of intimidating. Okay, so it's interesting. They give me these icons of a cross-section that I'm supposed to figure out how to do. Oh wait, no, I don't want to go in the head.
I bought Pete a plant. Whenever I would enter a room,
Stop.
eventually...
Stop. Don't want that. I thought maybe this could be a cross-section of the robot, but nope.
Daddy, why are the zombies all trying to get you?
Milo, I'm not playing a zombie game right now. I'm playing a different game. So this looks like it's either something that's dangling, or it could be a top-down cross-section of something. Like a plant like this, maybe? I can't zoom in on any of those. This is going to be a hard Grankin to find. I mean, this is a nice complicated shape. Probably a little too complicated. This does look like it's involves some kind of dangly rope, but... Or maybe it's a stem. Maybe it's... Oh, what? Oh, this is the plant I'm looking for? It looks really different from it. I guess it's grown? And that's why it looks different from its icon?
Ugh. Dogs hate all fruit. I'm not going near this, Morris.
Okay, sure. Is it like cats and cucumbers? Alright, well I think that means that the metal is unlikely to be in here because, I don't know, they're probably going to space things out, make you explore more. I might not bother with this right now. Oh, okay, so now we've got... Now I remember there was a radio, wasn't there? That had some innards? There we go. Okay. So, no metal hiding in here, just one old match. Oh, what's this? A case. The metal. I think that's our last object. Now, if I want to find all the Greykins, I can, but I think I'm not going to, because I have to...
This is a conspicuous gallantry cross. They don't give those to just anybody.
Conspicuous gallantry. That's the most British thing I've ever heard. Okay, so we got all the icons, so does that mean... Now, I assume I don't have to find all the Greykins, right?
Okay, that's all of the mementos. Now what do we have to do?
Wow, I'm getting a really strong scent. Well done. I should easily be able to sniff out Peter's spirit now.
All right then. What do you need me to do?
Absolutely nothing.
Nice.
Just let me do my thing.
Click and hold here. Okay, so I decide when I'm done finding Greykins. So I'm gonna not try to find all the Greykins because I've got a child situation to deal with. So let's let the dog find the ghost.
What?
There's many things in the world you haven't seen, Morris.
Those things,
Yep. Yep. Those are all of Pete's fragments. I just need to round them up.
Go get him, girl.
I don't even know if I have to bark, but I like being able to. Oh, there's more fragments over here. We got everything? Oh, is that Pete? Do I need to bark where Pete is? I assume the barking has something to do with collecting the fragments. There we go. Yeah, I had to bark at Pete. What? It's like a cocoon? A sea captain who does yoga.
Pete? Oh, wow. It's really you. Well, it's me, Morris. Morris Lupton.
Of course I remember you, Morris. It's lovely to see you. How's death treating you?
Oh, well, you know, it's a bit jarring, but... Well, I'm having a nice enough time. But listen, Pete, we've come to ask you something. Do you know about the custodian?
The custodian? The person who communes with the island, yes? I've noticed the volcano looks like it's waking up.
Yes, well, that's the thing. We need a new one.
Oh.
A new volcano?
To be the custodian? Oh, Morris, I'm flattered, but I don't think I'm the one for this job. I spent my whole life and my whole afterlife trying to find peace. And lately, I think I found it. I'm satisfied with how things turned out. I'm finally ready to go into the West. I don't want to stay around any longer.
Ah, well, fair enough.
Would you want to come with me? I would be grateful for the company.
Well, that's kind of you, but I do really need to help find a new custodian. Maybe afterwards.
I understand. Well, best of luck with the search then. I'm sure you'll find someone perfect for it.
Oh, that looks nice.
Oh, that didn't go well.
Oh, no worries, Morris. Plenty of other prospects. Well, 4.
Hey, Pete mentioned going into the west. What is that?
It's a Tolkien reference.
That's a very complicated question, Morris. Just think of it as leaving all this behind, which is not something we can do now. We need to go find Val. They're opening the sculpture park today.
Oh, is that opening already? Time certainly does move a bit quicker once you're not in the world. Talking to people, it all feels so distant. Though, if I'm being honest, I suppose I was a little buried in the museum those last few years after... well, you know... Ha! You know, you might say I started living like a ghost well before I became one.
Oh, you weren't a ghost, Morris. That museum is full of life, and ghosts can't give belly rubs anywhere near as well as you did, trust me. Now let's get going. We're gonna find Val.
Ah, yes, Val. I do feel a bit sorry for her, having her home invaded by all these silly artists.
Maybe. But at least we have a laird who's interested in doing nice things for Shelmerston.
Yeah, I suppose so.
A laird?
I was never sure about letting all those artists stay on Shelmerston, but I must admit that his heart's in the right place. Well, let's find Val then. After you, Sparky.
Okay, so I do need to go. Oh, weirdly... Huh, my mouse is not responding. I do need to go, so I am going to go. Let's switch to the end screen here. I'm going to go take care of whatever's going on with my kid back there, and I'll be back in a bit. But for now, you can, subscribe or whatever, and I'll be back soon, and we'll do something else. Maybe that thing. I don't know.